Hello. rekrap2 recently did a speedrun on a world with a seed, Parkertwo, and he said during that video that if anyone wants to run that seed, they should do it and post a video. I've been meaning to get into speedrunning for a while since I really love this game and the idea of speedrunning, so I thought, you know what, this is a default seed, this could be something good to start the practicing, so I thought I'd give it a go. This run is the one that I was happiest with overall, so I really do hope you enjoy.
One more go for the night, and then I'm done for the night, I think.
Hey, welcome to Post Commentary. So this is the speedrun that I was actually most proud of. It took, I believe, 45 tries. This was my 45th attempt. A lot of my runs ended up dying near the beginning, so there was quite a few, especially at one point. But you'll notice I left on the wrong skin. This is actually my red life skin from Task Life. That's mostly because I think I'd left it on from the last session, and I realized, but I couldn't really be bothered to change it, because I was just trying to really nail out runs to try and get a good one. I had a slightly different method of getting getting iron than rekrap did in his video. Please forgive my crafting, it's not very good in this attempt, I swear it was better. So I would get my 3 cobble here, and at some point, I believe it was like halfway through my runs, I realised there's a spider spawner right at the bottom here with a bucket. Oh, that zombie. Usually, there was only the spider that I had to deal with, but this time around I wasn't that fortunate. Once, I believe there was even 3, maybe 4 creepers. Usually I would get all my iron down here, but this time I think I was a bit different and I went up to the mill part. And you'll also notice I got enough cobblestone for 2 furnaces. I don't actually know if it was faster. It just kind of... It was one of those things that felt a bit faster. So, you know, I thought I might as well. It'll make me feel a bit better. I'd be able to do things while the iron cooks. I also forgot to get any coal, because usually I get it down there where that zombie was. But this time round, of course, the zombie was in the way and I didn't want to die. So that, a bit of time loss. Something you will notice, this is a theme across the run, is that it's not the cleanest. It's actually not that good of a run. I ended up making a lot more mistakes than I normally would in other runs, which makes me wonder how it's so fast. I wonder if it was anything to do with the luck, because I'm pretty sure I had decently good blaze rod drop rate, and I also had pretty good trading, I believe. Yeah, I had good trading. So normally what I would do, because of the fact I saved 3 extra iron, I ended up making a iron axe. I still got the same amount of iron, where +1 actually, the same amount of iron that rekrap did. So I got 10 instead of 9, because I also wanted to make a shield, because I don't have much faith in myself to be that good at this game. You'll see I got a flint after about 12 gravel. Sometimes I would have really bad gravel rates. I also got extra wood here because I needed to craft my pickaxe and my shield, because I thought I'd do that in advance. I forgot to switch my shield over. Also, my crafting here, again, really bad. Please forgive it. I was really tired by this point because it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, this is my last run for today. I'm going to bed. I think you might have heard me say that in the beginning of the recording, because I left that in. But I was getting a load of leaves here. I ended up deciding, kind of realizing that I only needed enough leaves to the point of the shears being at, I think, fairly low durability. So at that point, I just usually chuck them out. I also, sometimes I would forget to get wood here, would you believe it? Or I'd forget to get it until right at the end, and then it felt more like I was wasting time. So I really tried to be good about this. I tried to get about a stack of wood. So a stack of planks, so 16 logs. I was also really bad at hitting the pigs. I don't know what it was, but I could never get a good attack on them, because I could never hit them with a good attack. So I'd end up doing a weak attack on them. And sometimes they'd end up putting themselves out in the water because they'd run around and get into the water. I also only got 6 pork chocks this time around, which is fairly low. I usually try and get about 10. And I got confused with where I normally mine down. Gosh, this run is just chock full of mistakes. But usually I would get as well about 5 or 6, I think it's daffodils, is it? Just so I can make some suspicious stews, because I'm pretty sure the daffodil ones, I figured out they give regeneration. Because I was trying to figure out when I watched the video, because I did watch rekrap2's video before doing this myself. I was trying to figure out why daffodils, why suspicious stew? Does it do more hunger? I think it's just that it doesn't do more hunger than the mushroom stew, but I believe the daffodils give regeneration, because that's what I was understanding. Also, usually my portal building was quite good, but I managed to like mess it up. I don't know how I placed the water wrong, and I don't know why I didn't place it in there. Instead I placed a leaf block. All I can chuck it down to was just that I was tired. I just wanted to go to bed at this point. I thought I'd get one more run in, and weirdly, this was one of my fastest nether entries. I think I only got one that was sub 5, which I was pretty proud of, but then I kind of messed it up and ended up dying. So you'll notice as well here, I don't actually speed ridge, and that's because, at first, in my first, like, half of my run, I think 2 days ago, so not yesterday, but the day before, I would half speed run a spot. Half speed bridge, half not. But yesterday, for a lot of my runs where I tried speed bridging, I don't know what it was. I just kept failing, like fairly quick into the speed bridging as well. And like, I'm not the best at speed bridging. I try and practice here and there, but it was like abysmal. And it got to the point where I had lost all my confidence, and I genuinely was like, I don't want to keep losing runs to this, because I had so many where I just died to that. So I ended up just slowly bridging, tanking the hit of the time, because it is quite a lot of time lost, but it's alright. I also don't know if going up here is faster or not than just bridging over and then boating down, but I felt like it was faster, so I thought I'd just do it. It also, for some reason, always felt like a leap of faith, even though I had done it multiple times, which was a bit odd. But I also always tried to get gold here, just because a few of my earlier runs, I died to piglins before I could even get into the bastion, because they just come from the bastion, or like, I say into the bastion, I mean more into the spot where I can get all the gold, because they would just kill me. So I decided again, I'd tank the hit, I'd just get the gold boots so that they wouldn't attack me, and I'd be relatively safe. Which again, this run isn't the cleanest, and there's a lot of mistakes, and I have to wonder if I was a better player, or, you know, a speedrunner. If I was a pro speedrunner, which I'm really not. I've never speedrun before. Actually, I think I tried once before, but it was back a while ago, and it was before I knew any tricks. But I'm not a speedrunner, really. I don't do it. I especially not in Minecraft. I know some speedrun tricks for, say, Breath of the Wild, but for Minecraft, I know the tricks. I've never done it. So this was really just, a lot of this was down to my own error, which does make me wonder if the route that I took was actually better, because I did actually find a different bastion when I was trying to route this. When I did /locate, it sent me to a different bastion, which I think... Oh my days, that ghast. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the ghasts, and so I got a bit annoyed with them in the end. And I always tried to get these mushrooms here so I could make stews. But anyway, I think that my way to my bastion might have been a bit easier to get to, just because I think it was less lava lake to cross. But I'm also not too sure about that. It's also in a soul sand valley, so that's a bit of an issue. But I guess it beats it of Salt Delta, because gosh, those are hard to traverse. Sometimes the skeletons would be an issue, but really, I didn't mind it. I also had a different fortress, I believe, as a result. Oh yeah, those pigs. They've never been an issue like that before. So that was just another thing to chalk down to, gosh, this run was a bit scuffed. But you'll see in a bit here there was like a few skeletons, but somehow I managed to dodge them all. Like, this one is right beside me. How does it miss?
Oh, the dodge.
How did it miss me? My movement there as well was pretty good, actually, because I was trying to get better at placing leaves below me to traverse the soul sand a bit quicker. I just kept dodging the skeletons, but it's because this, the soul sand's a lot slower, and I'm trying to get better at just generally doing that. I'd say it was pretty clean overall. I mean, I managed to dodge 3 skeletons that were right beside me, so that's pretty good sign, honestly. So I don't actually know the proper bastion route for this bastion. I think it might be, is it called housing? I think, but I'm not too sure. I just knew that there was gold down here, because I'd gone through in creative and tried to figure out where a big amount of gold was. So I found some gold here and some, if I just mined straight forward from this part, I would find some. Again, my placing wasn't very good. But anyway, sorry, excuse me, I'm just taking a drink because my mouth's getting dry. I tried to get enough gold, and generally, I think my luck generally was pretty good, but yesterday I had like a lot of runs, especially in the latter half of my runs, where I just wouldn't have enough string, I wouldn't get enough pearls, I wouldn't even get enough like obsidian, so I just kept losing runs because these piglins. And like at that point, I'd like put in 15 minutes. This was actually one of my fastest ones, honestly. I think I got into the bastion sub 10. I could be wrong. I don't fully remember, but this was actually one of my fastest gets into the bastion, and it just, I don't know, like there was a lot of things that really could have gone a lot worse that didn't, and I still don't know how they didn't, especially because, again, this was late at night, I wasn't doing my best, I wasn't playing my best by any means, but there was also another section, if I had mined forwards instead of to the right, I could come across a double chest with some string, I believe gold boots with soul speed, and some obsidian, which I really should have gone for anyway, just to get more crying obsidian, because I never ended up getting enough for a respawn anchor, but I kind of decided that I had all my stuff, I didn't need any more, because this is actually, I think this was the most string I got, like, period. This was the most string I had gotten from trading, because I got over 2 stacks, which never happened. I think I just shifted the audio by accident. There we go. Anyway, that never happens to me. It never happened in past. I'd get under 2 stacks, and maybe enough for about 7 or 8 beds. But this one I ended up enough for 12, which you'll see later on kind of came in clutch, because my nerves, again, were shot. It was awful. And also, I feel like an underrated aspect of speedrunning that no one talks about is the inventory management, particularly once you get to trading and bartering. It's so hard to keep organized, because it's like, what do I need? What don't I need? Do I need this? Do I need that? I don't know. It's really hard to tell. So, like, I honestly have... Someone just yelled outside. I honestly have more respect for speedrunners in that regard, with how they manage to keep generally organized or know what they're doing. That was a mistake, throwing that, mostly because I only got, I believe, another 2 fire resistance, because I only had, like, 2 to traverse back to the fortress with. I think that was the only part of my bartering luck that was really, really bad, was, or I guess RNG, was that I only got 2 fire res. I ended up also getting soul speed 3, one of the piglins. They would always be piglins that picked it up, so I went down and I got that, and honestly, probably didn't save that much time, but it made me feel speedy, so... What can you say, man? Honestly. I think I was just trying to make sure I wasn't leaving anything important at this point. But, honestly, one of my cleanest bastions, I believe. And the fortress Oh, the fortress. So I think, again, it's a different fortress. And you'll see me try and get to it. Originally, I didn't have a full route in mind for how to get from the bastion to the fortress, and I'd end up pearling across lava lakes, all that, and it was just so slow and awful. But eventually, I kind of realized, I think near the end, actually, I made it, because I wouldn't always get past to the fortress part, because sometimes my runs would end because I didn't have good enough trades. My runs would end because I died to the piglins because of my own stupidity. I'd make mistakes. Or just my runs would end early on. But I managed to realize there was this little platform I could pearl to here. And then if I went up, I know it's a bit slower, but I think it's faster than having to deal with swimming up from the lava and then pillaring up from the lava. But I'd pearl over here, then there'd be this little ravine coming up in a second. I also managed to misplace my food, I guess. Which I kind of realized I could boat down from. You'll see it in a second. Where is it? Come on. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I would boat down from it, because at first I was just like, oh, it's not that far, I'll just block clutch down. And then I kind of kept realizing, this is taking a while, I just need to boat. So there's actually 2 spawners in this fortress. I think there typically is anyway. But one of the spawners, which I came across in my earlier runs getting to the nether fortress even, was an exposed one, open air exposed, and I had like a lava stream pouring down into it. But since I changed up my route, the closest one was always this more enclosed spawner, which didn't have any lava, which meant my rates weren't as badly affected because there was no, like, extra light or anything. It did have a little hole beside, which I tried to plug, but... Oh, my fire res ran out. That's good that I noticed. I think this was probably one of my best RNGs for the blaze rod drops. Pardon me, sorry. One of my first attempts where I ended up getting to the fortress, it took probably about 5 blazes I killed and I got nothing, and it took like a while to get my 5 blaze rods, because I only needed 5 because the portal was a 10i. That is one good aspect of having a set seed, even though it was a pretty rubbish set seed. It is knowing what you're dealing with, knowing the route, all that kind of stuff, because that can really help speed things up. And I think generally that, you know, it meant that I didn't get to play around with the F3 screen. I realized that I think I actually managed to get 6 and I didn't pick it up, because I kind of realized, wait a minute, I have 5. I don't remember fully if I paid attention to the time or not, but this was genuinely my best time I'd never gotten. I think the quickest I'd gotten was 1950, having all the blaze rods. But this wasn't even 18. This was sub 18. It was like 1730 or something like that, which is really, really good. So my next routing issue even. Gosh, I'm turning American. My next routing issue was getting to the exact coordinates to build the portal at, to get relatively near to the portal room of the stronghold. Sometimes, again, I would end up having to cross big lava lakes, because it actually passes by, you'll see in a moment, look at my leaves, there they are, it passes by where I originally came from, which I think is kind of funny. I go all in a circle, but if I was careful and I just pearled, I could actually make it across without having to deal with lava lakes. Now, this was a bit of a far pearl, this one's coming up, that I wasn't too confident I could make. But if I remember right, I think I make it. Let's see. Yep. Brilliant. Yeah, I make it, and from here, it's just a home stretch. I just need to run. I ate so that I could regenerate my health again. Pretty sure it had regen. The suspicious stews do. At this point, I don't have my gold boots on anymore because I switched them out for soul speed. So that guy was a bit angry. This is also a big flub up. I kind of realized, I was thinking as I was running, oh, my fire res has run out. And then I nearly died 4 hearts. Gosh, that would have been awful if I died at that point, because this was genuinely the best I'd done so far. Especially time-wise. I was doing really good. So I make up a suspicious stew to heal, because I'm like, I don't want to die. Not at this point. And at this point, I'm really trying so hard not to look at the timer, because I'm like, if I look at the timer, I'm gonna get really nervous. Because, that's something that I feel, again, is underrated when talking about speedrunning, is, like, you have to have really good nerves, because if you're doing a good run, and you realize it's a good run, it's so frightening, because it's like, if I mess up now, that's it. I've lost it. And I really felt like I wonder if I speedran more, if I probably wouldn't feel it as much, or I'd get better at controlling, noticing those nerves and being able to just work through them. But because I'd never really done it before, it was so, like, disabling in a way. Like, it was so hard to do it with, I also went back and got this iron chest plate, but it was so genuinely, like, I felt like I couldn't do anything with my nerves. They were so just poignant there. One fun thing, well, not fun thing, but one thing that happened I only got to the end portal, I think, 5 times before this one. And in one of them, I think it was actually my recent one, which had only been a few attempts before this, I think. My eye was hurting when I got to the portal room, so I had one eye closed while it was watering, and some silverfish were being an issue, and I ended up accidentally throwing an eye of ender and ruining that run, because I ruined it because I then just couldn't finish it because the eye broke and everything. Like, it went. Sometimes when I pearled as well, like, I'd accidentally pearl and fall and die here, but this was a really good end entry. 21 minutes, gosh. I mean, good for me. I know it's, compared to rekrap2's under 15-minute finishing, it's terrible. But for me, for someone who hasn't really speedrun Minecraft before, I was pretty happy with, like, that post-stress. I'm happy with it now, is what I mean. Also, I could make 12 beds, which I really needed to do, because, oh my days, my nerves got to me. It was awful. Some of my previous attempts as well had really, really long perch times, so I think one of them had about 6 minutes, one I had to wait 4 or 5. And I only got to the end, I think 4 times. And my recent attempt where I got to the inside the end, I had, I think, 9 beds. I left one behind to set my spawn because I was scared I would die. And I ended up needing 1 bed extra. It was a slither of health left because my nerves got to me, and my bedding was really, really bad. And so I was, for this attempt, I was like, no, cricket wee ball, I'm full sending it. I need to just take all my stuff, and if I die, I die, and I'll finish for the night. And you'll also notice I did, like, pause the game for a bit. I needed to take a breather because I was really getting nervous. Because I tried so hard not to, but I glanced in the corner and I was like, oh dear. Anyway, I think the dragon's about to perch now, which is a relatively quick perch, about 2 minutes. So I think I will just remind you again, please forgive my bedding. It wasn't very good. I was very nervous. My vision was, like, kind of going. But I shall leave you now with a live commentary, and I hope you all have a good day. Enjoy! I did it! Oh my days! I did it! GG. I did it! Oh my days! Oh my days! Oh my goodness! Oh my days! I'm gonna have a panic attack! My nerves got to me again. I'm so glad I had 12 beds. I have been working on this. This is probably like my 20th attempt or something. I got 23 minutes! That's amazing! Sub 25! Oh my goodness! Sub 24! Even for real time. I could feel my nerves getting to me and I was like trying so hard to focus, but as the dragon was perching, genuinely my vision was like going because I was like panicking so much. Oh my goodness. Oh my days. GG. I had 1 bit to spare. I like spammed that so bad. Well, GG everyone. I'll see you another day. Bye.